Hey, all right, everybody. So, Assalamualaikum, good afternoon, and salam sejahtera, everyone. I hope all of you are doing great and staying safe. First and foremost, I'd like to thank and welcome everyone who has chosen to spend time with us virtually on this Saturday. We have a great workshop and a talk show ahead of us, but before we start, I'd like to lay down the ground rules for this event. First, kindly turn off your microphone to avoid any disruption. And if you have any questions, please type them in the chat box or use the raise hand feature on Zoom during the Q&A session. Lastly, the event will be recorded for purpose of communication, as well as for everyone to watch later on. Before we go into the workshop, we have an HSE moment that will cover COVID-19 life-saving rule and home ergonomics presented by Mr. Amir Lokanduara. Mr. Amir, the time is yours.
Thank you, Dafa, for the helpful introduction, and welcome everybody to the event. Before we start, just a few rules about ergonomics. So ergonomics comes from two Greek words called ergon and nomoi, which basically is fitting the job and the workplace to the worker's needs. So as most of us are now in this pandemic situation working from home, let's just evaluate whether we have the right posture. We are sitting right now from wherever we are joining. We are sitting in the right posture firstly. And secondly, let's follow the 20-20-20 rule, which is in every 20 minutes, let's just look at something which is 20 feet away for a period of 20 seconds and give some relief to our eyes. All right. So now let's move on to the next slide. And this is just a reminder, a kind reminder that in the coronavirus times, let's all remember to follow the basic preventive methods of wearing a mask wherever possible, wearing gloves, washing hands. If we do all this, we can get through this together. Let's move on. And just a small message before I leave is whatever we do today, right after this meeting, is what will allow all of us to be together with those we love when this is all over. So with this, let's begin and give it back to Dafa for the continuing presentation. Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot. So now, let's move on to the workshop. How can we prepare ourselves to lead through the ongoing era of digital transformation? Now, through a grand collaboration between 9 SPE student chapters worldwide, organized by SPE Asia Pacific University and SPE Kuala Lumpur Young Professionals, we bring you today's workshop, Digital Transformation Focus, Data Analytics. My name is Dafa Bayu Putranto. I'll be your host for today's workshop. So allow me to introduce our very special distinguished speaker, Mr. Iqmal. Mr. Iqmal is a software developer and executive management professional with a background in engineering, sales, and data science. He earned his bachelor's degree in petroleum engineering at UTP and his master's also in UTP, specializing in reservoir simulation and study. He is a professional technologist and engineer under MDOT, DEM, and SPE with around 8 years of experience in the oil and gas industry, covering both upstream and downstream business. He aspires to implement cutting edge of machine learning and also artificial intelligence in the energy industry. So to Mr. Iqmal, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dafa, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Hope you are in your best of health. So first of all, I would like to thank SPE for inviting me. It's a pleasure to joining this workshop together with you. So let me share a screen a moment. Okay, so can you see the screen, Dafa? Can you chat?
Yep, we can see the screen.
All right, thank you. Okay, my name is Iqmal, and today I'm going to talk about data analytics, and the views are on my own. So before we start, I would like to ask if anybody loves to watch Netflix. Okay, you can raise your hand, but I think I'm sorry, I can't see you right now raising your hand. But I'm pretty sure that most of you are watching Netflix during your leisure time. So what do you think? Do you benefited by their recommendation? Is it helpful? Is it save your time of searching many movies and then according to your your favor and at your taste. So do you know that Netflix use recommendation system to personalize user movie preferences? So the question is, what if we apply in oil and gas application? For example, we recommended next wells for simulation and diagnostic based on their reservoir health. So these are some kind of data analytics question that I open to you to ask yourself if you have a better idea to improve the industry. So according to one of machine learning book, Application Oil and Gas Industry by one of our guru, Luigi Saputelli. So data analytics is fundamentally transforming several industries such as retail, marketing, telecommunication, insurance, and banking. In this digital age, it is becoming more important for companies leverage on technology to change the way they operate, aided by data analytics. So oil and gas operations are becoming increasingly more complicated with modern facility infrastructures, complex reservoirs, and competitive landscape. So there are few success stories by using technologies nowadays to make decision faster and better, as well as operationally safe. For example, in GNG, we have like, for example, collaboration from ECNOC and then Total introducing the smart drone during Abu Dhabi International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference back to 2019 that can run seismic onshore. And then we have also seismic interpretation advancement in terms of technology over here. And then in drilling, we have nowadays we have real-time drilling optimization and some of the company as well doing a drill bit performance to enhance the drilling rate. So in reservoir, we also start to talk about digital field. So basically, we use like in the book of Luigi Saputelli, we have data analytics in RE. And then lastly, for production, we have production optimization and then to predict the facility uptime. So all in project, basically, we have a similar cycle, which is we start with business understanding, and then we have we undergo the data preparation, modeling, evaluation, and last deployment that we will touch in this session after this. So okay, so moving on. I would like to divide my workshop into several parts. So we will start with introduction. So here we a little bit background of myself, and then we can start with what is data analytics all about. And then we go through the level of data analytics. And then from here also we would like to understand about what's the difference between artificial intelligence or AI, machine learning, and deep learning. And then we can go to dive deep into machine learning. What's the type of machine learning that's popular or typically used? And then we go to data analytics process and what is their challenges. And before we end, actually, I would share my best reference and then how to get started to learn on data analytics. So if you ask me, if I can restart my learning journey on data analytics, how can I improve my learning? So today I will do that. I will share with you how to get familiarized with some of the tools, basically in data science, so that you can apply in your study or your work. So, and then here I divide it into three. First one is introduction to Power BI. We have introduction to Azure MS Studio. And last one is introduction to Python programming before I give you some demo and summarize to this workshop. So before we start, allow me to share with you a little bit about my background. So I started working with Talisman Energy in the subsurface department, and then I started a work on as an engineer working onshore, offshore before pursuing my master in reservoir simulation. So, and then I joined the South Data Star program to start learning about data science and joining hackathons with my partners. So, and then After that, I joined Data Conserve as a data engineer for subsurface data before joining data scientist for Petronas. So basically, we have a data science is a broad field. So for me, I'm focusing on upstream business. So let's get started. So data analytics basically is science of analyzing the raw data in order to make conclusions about any information. So this is from Investopedia. So basically, we require the algorithms to work over the raw data for human consumption, which is us. And then data analytics also help us, the business, to optimize their performance, especially during this challenging time. This is where we consider data analytics to assist us in day-to-day jobs. So what is the level of data analytics? Data analytics can be as simple as preparing a dashboard to developing a robot. So basically, you can see on the x-axis is the business value from low to high, and then on the y-axis is the complexity, so from low to high. So we can here is a dashboard. Basically, we from the raw data, we want to know what is happening. For example, we want to interpret what's happening, why the production reduced from the last month. And then we also want to ask how much has the pressure dropped from the previous month, telling us on what happened with the data. And then in the middle, actually, I don't include here is diagnostic, which actually somehow we can detect outliers and then missing value and the gap in our data. So actually, is in this part, which is we want to identify its outlier. Some reservoir outliers mean maybe new information or new signs. Some of the outliers are actually extreme values, or we can remove them that carefully, and then maybe we can treat the outliers as well. So before we can proceed to the predictive analytics part, which is and then involve machine learning, which is under predictive analytics. Basically, we want to ask what will happen. For example, want to ask what's the production of next month with this provided condition. And then lastly, for decision making, actually it is under prescriptive analytics. We want to know how can we make it happen. So basically, this is the last part actually. So suggestion to complete the cycle from data to insights, from insights into action. So this overall is the level or over cycle of the data analytics itself. Okay, so moving on. So what's the difference between AI, machine learning, and deep learning? So according to TechGeek, AI enables machines to think without any human intervention. So it's actually a broad area of computer science. So we have like MIT robotics. So with less human intervention, they can monitor it due to camera, and then it can move toward the offshore side, which is a very to relate to safety of the personnel. So, and then what about machine learning? Machine learning is a subset of AI that use statistical learning algorithm to build smart systems. So basically, machine learning is a techniques or methods actually to implement it AI. And then for deep learning as well is a tools, a subset of AI that inspired by the way the human brain filter information by using perceptron and then making the decision. So if you ask me where's data coming from, so data science is an interdisciplinary field that use scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge and insight from raw data. So as a data scientist, normally we will apply most of the techniques available and then based on the project objective and requirement. So let's move into detail. What is the typical type of machine learning? Here I divided into two, where we have supervised learning and unsupervised learning. For supervised learning, basically we have data with label. So here we have regression, problem, which is we want to know the output in numerical form, and then this is I'm pretty sure that most of us are familiar with this model. And then we have classification where we expect categorical output. So we have support vector machine as SVM, neighbors, KNN, and logistic regression. On the other side, we have unsupervised learning, which is basically is data without label. Okay, allow me to explain. Data with label meaning that we have independent variables, which is your X, and then dependent variable, which is your Y. So basically, your data set will have both that X and Y, and then we want to for the machine to learn based on the trained data set. So in the case that we don't have dependent variable, which is Y, we might consider to unsupervised machine learning. So we don't have label. Basically, machine will learn the pattern or class for this group is clustering. So the popular one is k-means. So they will group or cluster your data according to their similarities. So, and then on the right hand side is the dimensional reduction. So this is principal component analysis. So basically it will reduce your number of features some of before we doing EDA, etc. So I'm pretty sure actually there are more type of machine learning that I didn't include in this. So my recommendation that we start from, you can start from basic one. So master and get comfortable with supervised learning and unsupervised before we have other types such as we have time series analysis, we have image video analytics, text analytics, and reinforcement learning. So for here, I would like to focus the basic one, and then you can I will share you the reference so that you can explore it further later. Okay, let's move to data analytics process and their challenges. So generally, we start data analytics project with data collection over here. So with the data we collect here, and then we require to clean it before we do any analysis and modeling part. So then we do. We also want to find the missing value or any gap within the data, and then we also identify the outlier and strategize on how to do any treatments for both of them, which is we want to treat the missing value and then treat the outliers as well. So the challenge in this phase, basically, we found that to be honest, basically data science will spend their time about 50 to some of 40 to 60% of their time for data cleaning phases, and then we found that the challenge itself is sometimes is related to data integrity, and then data availability, and then data quality as well. So in oil and gas as a whole, so basically the challenge is our data is expensive, not like other industry, which is data is abundance. For example, customer basis. So basically market, we can have data as easy as asking for users feedbacks, and then we compile it, and then when we go to internet, so we have an abundance of data. But in oil and gas, we need to invest, we need to run tools to collect the data, and then the lab. So it's very expensive process. So that's why data in oil and gas is very expensive. That we need to creative way to how to integrate the data and then analyze the data itself. So this is one of the challenge over here. And then we proceed with once we done that in the cleaning, actually we can do EDA. Actually, this is a process of EDA as well. So here, actually, after we do the cleaning, we will have like analysis. Basically, we would like to know what is the distribution and the correlation of the data among each features. So we will do this before we proceed on the modeling part. So, but before modeling part, I didn't include it here. Actually, we have like feature selection, data engineering, and then feature engineering, and then over here also we have data preparation before we proceed with modeling part, because most of the machine learning is kind of sensitive. So we need to get our data as structured as possible before we proceed with the modeling part. So, and then this is where we use available machine learning techniques before we end with some evaluation. Okay, so moving on. So why it is good to start learn on data analytics? Why it is now? So nowadays Python is widely considered one of the easiest programming languages for a beginner to learn. So due to strong community, we have very good developers, a community, and then more resource and support currently available. So we have, for example, Stack Overflow reference, so can help us in building the application. So on the other hand, we also have a rapid growth of technology, for example, computer power, cloud computing, and IoT. Basically, all the algorithm, AI, and the machine learning is already there since 1950. But due to rapid advancements of computing power, then this nowadays is becoming popular. And then this is somehow reduced amount of expensive computing in terms of cost and time with cloud computing. For example, we have last time is conventional reservoir. Now we have unconventional complex physics that require extensive modeling, so which increase the time of cost and time. So for limited time, you might consider to use machine learning to speed up your simulation as well. Okay, so let's move to the learning path. So for learning path, I would like to divide into three, which are first starter, beginner, and then pro. For starter, basically it's no code. You just more like a drag and drop. And then beginner, lesser the code, and then the pro is more like the coding, how to integrate. So in simple word, I like to put it in this way so that you can easily digest it. So just to put the basis of PowerPoint for visualization, and then Excel for the modeling part. So for starter, with no code, you can just use the drag and drop. Now available is Power BI by Microsoft, and then other option is Tableau. So Power BI function is same. I like to make it same as a PowerPoint to just set up with what is you want to do a scatter plot, you want to do the line plot. So it's have a same function. Same goes to Azure. This one is Azure Machine Learning Studio, or we call it Azure ML Studio. It's a for modeling where they have like drag and drop modeling of machine learning, and then this is similar like Excel. So, or if you want to, once you already get the idea, all the process comfortable, you can proceed with a beginner, which is less of the code. Actually, you just need to install Anaconda. And then in Anaconda itself, you with lesser setup, you can use Jupyter in your local. So, or if you don't want to use it, or you want to experiment in internet or web-based, you can go to Google Colaboratory. So, or we known as Google Colab. So basically, we do use Python language as well. So this is advanced, which is you can install VS Studio Code, VS Code. So, and here we install directly use Python. So both of the stages is using Python, and then what basically we want to use their libraries. For example, one is most known for the visualization, we use Seaborn. I will show you later. And then sklearn for the machine learning. So sklearn hold all the algorithm of machine learning. So Seaborn for visualization, same as Power BI, same as your PowerPoint. For sklearn, same as like machine learning ML Studio, same as your to your Excel. So in demo later, I will show you on how we convert from Excel project to Azure ML to your sklearn in the Python. So let's do that. So before that, before you go into modeling part, first thing first we need to do is to understand what is the type of data. And I put here is Kaggle. So during my time, we don't have like a bundle of data. So right now, we are very fortunate to have Kaggle and then you can Google it. So Kaggle basically store a lot of data sample. You can learn from others how they analyze and interpret the data, the techniques behind. So it's very helpful material. So data can divide it into two. First one is categorical and numerical. So under categorical, we have binomial, nominal, and ordinal. Once you receive the data, you should be able to identify what is your data. So, and then numerical, we have discrete, and then for continuous, we have ratio and interval data. Okay, so for the model part, basically I like to compare between the traditional programming and then machine learning. So basically traditional programming, we have data and the program or your model or your equation to be input in your computer. And then we have your output as our results. But in machine learning, it is a kind of a bit different, which is we have data and then some output so that computer can learn, so they can produce the program or rule for our case studies. So that is basically the idea. So we will go after this. We will go dive into more detail. So we will start with introduction to Power BI. So Power BI is a good tool for business intelligence and data analysis. So basically, we use that for exploring data analysis. And here you can go to the Power BI later on, but I can quickly show you the walkthrough. So basically this overlay is just like PowerPoint. So at the top pane, you have you get your data, you can put your Excel, CSV data, and then you can transform your data. So you can make sure that your data is at the correct types. And then you can decide or choose, pick up your visualization on the right pane, which is we have multiple, we have like pie chart, we have like key influencer. So, and then there are also, you can add another plot, and then you can add another according to your requirement. So this one is at the bottom here is just a setup, how you want to put your data, which data. So, and on the left side is basically how you want to manage your data. We have this is chart, this is your data, like in your Excel, and then here we can use the map the data as well. So if you ask me what is my best features, what my best plot in Power BI, I can share with you the most favorite is key influencer. I apply it in most of my plot during using the Power BI, because this is key influencer basically. So basically it will explain to you and assist you to extract relationship between dependent and independent variables. For example, this is your dependent variable, which is Y. For example, in the case of house sales, what's the price of the house? So basically due to the location, and then due to number of crime, and then due to many factors. So it will explain, this will be your independent variable number one, X1, and then this is X2, X3, etc. So they will show you the what is the strong factor contributor to the your dependent variable, which is Y. So we have another chart as well. So and then you can put your text, and then they can do some basic text analytics as well in the Power BI. So I leave some reference for you to basically for you to follow a step-by-step setup. So in the YouTube, basically I pick only video with a good number of amount of minutes, so less than 10 minutes, you can get comfortable with Power BI. Okay, let's move to Microsoft Azure Machine Learning Studio. So in Azure, they have like tutorial. So later I will explain a little bit about their interface. So basically here I just want to show you how does it work. This one is in the case of supervised machine learning using Microsoft Azure MS Studio. So this is the framework basically. So for information, you can go to the reference. So once we get the clean data, So we can proceed with data preparation, like split your data. So basically, we can split into rule of thumb is maybe 60% of your data set for train, and then remaining is 40%. So sometimes we want to use 70, and then 30%, 80%, and then 20% is up to. So you can do some like sensitivities over here. So basically, so train data, which is on the right side, we use it to train the model, and then the model basically you can choose in Microsoft Azure ML Studio. We have like linear regression, we have neural network, we have decision tree based. So you can put it, and then so that the machine learning can train, and then they will go to predicted for the score model. So for the test data set, they will go to actual data, and then they will compare it, and then we can evaluate how much is the score according to the model. So normally we will use we will put 2 or 3 different model, and then we will evaluate and then choose the best model according to their score. Okay. Okay, moving on. Last part is before we go to the demo part. This is Python programming. So this is the list. There are a lot of Python libraries, and then this is mostly used in Python. So we have Pandas, which is high performance data manipulation and analysis tools using its powerful data structure. So I like to say it as the Excel. And then we have very useful data structure called NumPy, and then perform numerical computation. So this, I call it as a calculator. And then Seaborn, as mentioned, is based on Matplotlib. So provide high level interface or active information visualization. So this is your PowerPoint PPT. And lastly is library for machine learning modeling. So this is the engine for the Python. Okay. So let's move to the demo. So for the demo, I will show you the simple or basic machine learning model, which is linear regression, so that you can understand the basic or the workflow of it. So what you can do next is you can try with different kind of model. So if you ask me how you can start learning, so there are 2 ways. First one is you go through Python programming courses, learn how to use the libraries. You can go to line by line, cell by cell, running the Python. This is number 1, and then you can use other application. The second suggestion is you can convert whatever your work, your existing work from Excel. You can try to your Azure ML Studio for no code platform, and then before you proceed to Python programming. Okay, so let me. Okay, so this one is Excel. For example, here I use from data from Kaggle. So we have USA housing, the house price. So it's a free available in Kaggle. So basically, this is our Y, which is dependent variable, the price of the house based on the area income, house age, and this is your X1, X2, X3, X4, and X5 area of population. So if we plot it in Excel, basically we will have something like this, and then actually we just want to have this equation y equal to the y equal to mx plus c, your constant. So and then we cannot see effectively because it's high dimension data. So what we normally do is we one by one we x y. So for example x1 and y with y. So the house price, and then we can see the model. This can be done. So this is a sample. So or else you can use Excel also can use data analysis part. So what if you have a many number of features and a lot more rows over here? So this one is our data is still in a good size. So what if you have millions of data? So can we use Excel? So previously I also suffer with million data. We have pressure over seconds. So and then Excel become lagging. So this might be the reason you want to consider using Python. So what you can do, let me share. Yes. Okay. Okay, so let's go to Azure MS Studio. Basically the same data. Okay, let me walk through you the features. So here is on the left pane is your experiment, and then your web services, and then how to start it. Basically, this is already available in my but if you want to start, actually it's empty. So you can go to new. Okay, you can go to new, and then you can put your data set over here, and then import from local. And then once you do that, you can add experiment, and then basically Azure ML will produce a new experiment for you like this. So once you do that, your data will be something here, which is safe data set. So you can click here. Sorry, a bit lagging. Okay, so in same data set, you have like a sample. Here is Microsoft also provide free data set over here for you to use it, or else you can use your downloaded uploaded data over here. So there are a lot of feature over here you can play around, but normally this is the typical structure that I use here, same like this. So this is a simple framework for the supervised machine learning, where you have your dependent and independent X and Y relationship. So here we use the same data, which is USA housing, and then you can click here, and this is just drag and drop. So let me show you. So in your data set, for example, you can just drag it and drop it here. Just hold it and then drop. So and then if you want to find some of the items, you can go like linear regression, and then it will pop up your model accordingly. What is your want to? So for example, here I already make it available. So you have USA, so you can go right click, go to data set, and visualize.
Oh, damn.
Okay, so this is just walkthrough. In my slide, I have a video, so you can refer it later. So here you have 10,000 of rows and 7 columns. So here, so you can see what is the distribution, and then how your data is. So after that, you can do summarize your data to check your data. This basically descriptive statistic. So you have your how many data is it, what is the missing value at the minimum, median, and then all the other statistic information, for example, skewness and courtesies. Okay, this one is actually be part of your data analysis before you do the data preparation, which is split data. So as you can see on split data on the right pane, we have like the setup, how you want to split your rows. So we have a split rows, and then like I mentioned previously in the slide, how you want to split is 70%. Your test would be the 30% remaining. So this is 70%, and then redundancy is just a default setting. Okay, so and then you also can observe what is your result data set that but I don't plan to show it over here. And then we have train model, and this is your model. So maybe for your exercise, maybe you can use decision trees. So you can use regression, and then you can drag. You just need to replace from linear regression to other model. So here you can do some kind of like sensitivities. So once you do that, train model, and then you can do score model, and you can inspect how does your prediction looks like. So you can right click, visualize, okay, and then go to the price, and then you want to compare to Scott label, which is your Scott label is your predicted. So you can see this is the actual versus the predicted. So by right, the best is 45 degree, but this one is 45 degree line, but this one is a bit scattered, meaning that our score we expect is not that that good. So let's check on it. So we can check our score over here, evaluate model, right click, and then kind of coefficient determination is 0.26. The best would be 100%, but this one is can say 30%. Normally we have like 60%, 80%. So this is this one is just default setting. So I don't do any tuning, and I don't do any sensitivity. So this is something that you can explore later on. So the another feature that I like is you just need to make sure that the error is correct. But anyhow, AzuML will assist you. Basically, if it cannot do at the right node, it will appear something like red. If it's the good node, so the right node, and then it will appear something like green. So that's basically it. So and the feature importance we can see, so something like it will give you like feature importance, which is what is the coefficient of the each parameters, which one is contributing. So for here we can see the area of population contributing to the house price. Okay, but this mod, since this model is not that good, so maybe you might accept or might not want to accept these findings. So this basically explain about the model itself. So let's move to, okay, so we already see from Excel application using the same data set, and then you use AzuML Studio. And then let's move to Python. For here, I use Google Colaboratory. So it's a web-based. So here is linear regression example. So basically, this is how I arrange my work. So basically, we import the library. So import here is import pandas, the library that we discussed previously, as PD. PD is just a nickname, so you can put any name, but the best practices we use PD. So pandas as PD, numpy as NP, so that we don't need to type pandas every time we want to use the function. So that's why data, this is our variable. You can name your data as raw data. You can name your variable as your name or specific feature. So data actually is just a variable, and then it collect the information from this, which is pandas.read CSV. So basically, this type of function want to read your file. So and then this one is this is compulsory library or normally used, or you can find it in Kaggle as well. So don't worry much about to memorize all this library. Basically, you can just refer to Kaggle. Later, I will display to you what is Kaggle all about. For those that's not familiar with Kaggle before. So data.head, so we have data, so we assign the variable to data, and then data.head basically to see the top 5 lines. So this is top 5, so but it's starting from 0 as an index, 0, 1, 2 until 5. So and then we have we can see all the data columns, and then the rows. So you also want to know data info, so want to have information. What is the type of your data? So we have float. 64 float is a numerical type of data. So we can say that we have 5, and then object is because it's in a text. So we have most of data is numerical, and then so that it can be easily used linear regression. And then we also want to use data.describe. Basically, each column they will provide you statistic of each column. For example, this is number of count 5,000. So we have 5,000 data. So and then so what is the mean of the area income? So this is 68,000, and then the median is 68,000 as well. But since it's different, we cannot say it's a normal distribution. So we want also to see what is there any outliers? Yes, there is outliers. For example, the max exceeded with this. So this is kind of a check for descriptive statistic. And then you will also want to know your column, so data.columns. So this is basically clean data, I can say, because it's from Kaggle. So you can do some cleaning, but I don't plan to share with you today. So then we move to EDA part, which is we use SNS. It stands for Seaborn. So remember, import Seaborn as SNS. So Seaborn is for visualization. So here we borrow the libraries to use the function of pair plot. And then the input is the data. Data, the variable that we assign here, data, and then here, data based on this. So basically, it will show you the relationship between the features. For example, like let's see what's the obvious trend. Okay, we can see the average area income. Here we can see strong positive linear correlation. So positive correlation with price, meaning the higher the average income, the higher the price. So some of the data is there is no no correlation. So this is some kind of a summary that you can get from the pair plot. Okay, and then we have Seaborn also has a heat map for the EDA, so you can see the score of the correlation. So this is for visualization, but this one you can see in the numerical. So for example, average income, so have a positive with 0.64 price, which is strong. This is compared to the others. So the others is sum of the event 0.02, negative. So here you can see how the features correlated with each other. So this is something that you can look into later on. So my advice, you during this process, you want to sharpen or improve on your statistic and probability part. Okay, once you do that EDA, then we move to the modeling. So before modeling, same process. So once we do the EDA analysis part, we want to split the data or prepare the data. So basically, we this is X, which is the split. So we define the X, which your X1, X2, X3, X4, and X5, and then your Y, which is dependent variable, is the price. We want to predict the price, right? So we use some of sklearn. So no need to worry. So you can go to this is sklearn library. So you can, if you want to have a proper regression, you can click, and then you can study what's the different, and then how to set up your model. So for me, if you ask, you can always refer to this comprehensive material for the sklearn, which is machine learning libraries. So this one, if we want to use the function, so we need to connect it, and then this one is the function is to the objective is to split. So train size equal to 0.7. Remember, same setup as this one, which is 0.7. The difference is only we use it in the code. So and then we have the function. This one also actually the function is to measure the score. And then we also want to set up to make it standardized, because some of the data is have a different shape. So for example, pressure is from 0 to thousands, and then temperature is 0 to 60 Fahrenheit. So it's different scale, right? So we want to standard the unit. So this is what it does, and then fit, and then this is where you want to start using your model, which is linear regression model. So we ask sklearn to import the features, which the model, which is linear regression, and then we normalize it, and then we fit, and then we done. This is where is your model. So your suggestion is you can use another model. For example, you want to use decision tree, and then you can change this kind of this line only. Yeah, and then this one is model evaluation. So basically this one is to see your y-intercept, and then this is the coefficient of each your variables. So this is the scoring. So in prediction, you can use similar. So here you can see the 45 degree, same to this plot as well, the one that I show you. Okay, so this is let's compare it. Okay, so this one is not that 45 degrees. So this one you can see somehow we have a better prediction over here. So this is evaluation function, and then actually you can come up with your table. So this is your R2 score. So this one is 90%, which we can say this model is perform better than previous model. So this is actually overall walkthrough of the simple. So next you can try to discover on your own how to implement or improve with available data, or you can find in Kaggle. So let's go to Kaggle. So basically Kaggle is we have a lot of data. For example, we have Netflix stocks price. We have for those who like sport, you can go to 2021 Olympics in Tokyo. So there are abundance of data over here. You can explore it and then try to train and get familiarized with coding. And then for Seaborn, this is the one that I mentioned, which is for visualization. And then you can use a lot of interactive plot over here. Yep. So let me, okay. So due to running, so in summary, due to the oil downturn, pandemic, and technology advancements, these are the factors that drive a company to operate efficiently in this current competitive landscape. So basically, most of initiatives are driven by the pain points and value added to industry. So we have a lot of, if you ask me, do we use machine learning most of the work? It's actually not. So basically we will prioritize based on their pain points and value, how much is value added. So we need to prioritize on the projects due to their value to the organization. So especially during this crude oil price. So data analytics will help us in discovering unnatural phenomenon and then studying the new science, and then we need the right balance between business understanding and data analytics. This is the challenge. Basically, we need to educate, or we need to train people to familiarize, get the idea, because most of the project setup, we have subject matter expert, which is we call it SME, which come from reservoir engineering domain, geology domain, work together in a small team with data science, and then we have UI designer, and then we have data engineer, and then we have project manager in a small team. So we need to have the right balance, and then the SME also required to aware and then know about how the machine learning works, so that they can guide data scientist or developer to do the program or system. So that's basically it from me. So I think it's good in this session. Or if you have any question, you can connect to my LinkedIn as shown below. So I open up any question or clarification. So with that, back to you, Dafa. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Ikmal, for your insightful presentation and also your demo. So now I'm sure many of you have questions in mind. So let's jump into the Q&A session. So please type your questions in the chat box or use the raise hand feature if you want to ask your questions directly. And don't forget to mention your name and where you're from. Is there anyone who wants to ask directly? Okay, Bior, you may ask your question.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hear me well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. My name is Bioratim from SP KLYP section. And how are you, Ikmal? Nice presentation, by the way. So my question, my question goes, you know, now many organizations in the industry, in energy industry, are slowly adopting digital technologies, while data confidentiality is also a top priority. So do you think digital transformation can unintentionally expose such organization to cybersecurity?
Okay.
Is it clear, right?
Okay. Yeah, clear. So Okay, let me try, answer this. So if you can ask later if you need more details. So okay, talking about security. So I'm maybe not the best position to answer this, but based on what I understand, basically, uh, this is something that previously, this is also kind of one of the challenge in digital transformation. So basically, it's written in the Logis Apateli book as well. So the challenge is previously we are working in silo. So in order to have a meaningful effect, we need to integrate the data, and then this is where we kind of like we expose the data between different department and then different team. So this is where the challenge is in terms of security. So uh, for example, I think digital initiative we need to be aligned. So in terms of your data management, and then in terms of your data analytics proposal, and then as well as your security. So basically, in digital group, basically as a whole, this is somehow an element that we need to work together in every project. Yeah. Does it
Okay.
answer your question? Yeah.
Yes, that is just a concern, because we are, because of the situation nowadays, there is no way that people are still going to have some facilities to store data. So there's no way people will be running away from this cloud and all that. So what is supposed to be put in to perspective is how to safeguard the security of
The
each company's
information.
data. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bill, for the question. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Bio. And thank you, Mr. Igmal, for the answer. So we have a few questions listed from the chat box, I think. So first is by Mr. Anwaruddin from SPE Kuala Lumpur section. In regression on relationship, can machine learning also be trained to perform filtration from data lake before taking all data into establishing relationship?
Okay. Okay, thank you, Anodit, for the question. So yes, basically that is on remember the cycle of data science project. So that is first thing first is just data collection part. So that would be on data collection. So for example, in most of previous project before joining Petronas, basically we are using data or collect data from real time, which is PI system. So we basically we get from downhole pressure gauge. So the data is live, and then we use that PI system to host in the term of data collection. We also have data in SQL, and then data lake. So this is kind of a data collection process. So yes, of course, we need to have that in place first before we do another part, which is data science or data analytics modeling. Yeah, thank you for the question.
Thank you, Mr. Igmal. So there's another question from Saeed from SPE Kuala Lumpur Young Professionals. So before we train the model, we split our data into 80% to train and validation data for 20%. So the question is, why do we always use this proportion for splitting data? Or can we make it 50-50?
Yeah. Okay. Good questions, right? So thank you for the question again. So yeah, actually, it is based on normally before we conduct any study, basically we will liaise with SMEs. So we will inform that this is our decision 80. So normally the best practice, they put 80-20 or 70-30. You also can do 50-50, but there is another technique actually you can do like cross. So that I didn't share with you is technique that you can split the data and then make it a test data set as well. So if you ask me, yes, you can do 50-50. So the idea is actually how many volume of data you want the model to train, and then you need to have spare some data set so that we know how robust our model is. So there's another other than that, other than train dataset, other than test dataset, we have like unseen dataset, which is dataset come out from new dataset, which is unseen. So we known as a holdout. So this the function is the same. Actually, we want to see how robust is our model, how confident are we for to our model. So yeah, that's my answer to side question. Thank you for the question. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that was a heavy question from Said. So next question we have from Zahid Hamidi. He's a field engineer from Schlumberger. Which Python module, Matplotlib or Seaborn, is recommended for data visualization?
Seaborn and Matplotlib.
Yep, Seaborn and
Okay. Okay, good question as well. So thanks Zahid for the question. So I like to put something like this. So we have Matplotlib. So it's the basic. So it's the default for the plotting. And then Seaborn actually we have more interactive plot. And then actually we have another one called Plotly. So some of you want to explore more, which is Plotly. We have more interactive than Seaborn. So Seaborn also come from Matplotlib. So the idea is sometimes you want to use Seaborn for fast and then interactive plot, but some of the cases we want to have a custom made plot, so we might want to consider Matplotlib as well. So if you ask me, that's the difference. So it's more interactive and then faster. But if you ask me, it's based on different purposes. So you need to ask yourself what you want to plot or to visualize, and then before you select any library, for example, Seaborn, Matplotlib or Plotly. So for just sharing here, so for time series data, I love to use Plotly so that you can actually drag the pointer and then you can see the value of the line. So that is Plotly that I haven't shown in my sharing today. Yeah, back to you, Dafa. Is there any question?
Thank you, Mr. Iqbal. Okay. I think that clears it for Mr. Zahid Hamidi. So we have a question from YouTube, since this event is being live streamed on SPAPU's YouTube channel, so Kuala Lumpur section's YouTube channel. So it's from Azharuddin. Can you suggest some books for data analytics?
Okay, thank you, Ava. So yeah, I can share with you, absolutely. So this is basically, I think, the book that I'm currently pursuing. So we have like machine learning in oil and gas industry. So we have like Luigi Sapatelli. This is what I think guru of the data analytics in oil and gas. And then we have also data analytics is RE. So there's very comprehensive material over here. Another reference you might want to into is I also learned from One Petro. So here SPE already provide us a lot of reference for us and help also. So if you ask me where you can start with the book of machine learning application by Luigi. Before, if you interested to know what's the application in RE, then you can proceed to another book. So you can do that. Yeah.
Okay, so there it is. There's a lot of places to start, I think, with the applications, right? And we have a question from Hazwan, SPE Kuala Lumpur Young Professionals. He said, hi Iqma, what is the cheapest option for a small company to get started with machine learning software?
Okay, thank you Hazwan for the question. So yeah, that's a good question as well, because nowadays we have a lot of platform from Microsoft, we have AWS. But if you ask me, you can use Python. So it's possible. So Python is open source and then it's available to all of us. So actually we can use Python, but we need to attend some courses or training. So I think, but there are not plenty of resources. You can find it in YouTube as well. So I think it's possible for you to catch up with Python. That's should be. So if if you are not up to any platform like Microsoft or AWS. So yeah, another thing is I found is one of product in Switzerland, which is KNIME, KNIME. So that's one also provide the same like the one that I share with you today, which Azure ML Studio. KNIME also use like drag and drop, not, but you can use for the modeling for the machine learning. Yeah, you also can explore on that. Okay, back to you, Dafa. Any question?
Maybe from Mr. Azwan. Okay, I think we have another question. I just want to remind prior to that we still have 4 more minutes to end the Q&A session. So there's another one. Do you think smaller companies or organizations are able to fully implement digitalization to be at par with the larger players? That's a question.
Okay, that's a good question. It's a strict question as well. So last time I asked about one of the reservoir engineer. I asked about what is the opinion of data analytics, so or big data. So he said that big data is for big company. So, but I didn't think that way. So nowadays, there are in terms of community, we have community is expanding. Nowadays, we have a lot of people working on this, and then this technology become more cost effective than before. So for me, we just need to explore, and then what normally I do is actually following the right people. There are a lot of people sharing a good material, good sharing. So this kind of sharing, this is something that you want to look into so that you can apply it in your company. Right now, that's the reason why some of the program, for example, startups, they started with limited resources, but they can come with some idea. So that's the reason why I also closely following some of the startups companies, smaller companies that they are trying to provide idea, and then from the ideas with limited resources. So I think that's possible, but we need to look into or learn example from this kind of companies.
Okay, great. So I think that's it for the questions. I think, is there anybody else who wants to ask, maybe perhaps ask directly on the Zoom or through chat? Okay, if there's none, if there's no more questions, we can move on to the next session. So thank you once again to Mr. Iqmal for the Q&A session. And
it's a pleasure.
Yeah, we can move on to the Kahoot. So right now is the fun part. We have a Kahoot, and the link will be in the chat box, and the code is right there also. You can use your name and your organization. Join us in the Kahoot. Iqmal can play also, maybe.
Really?
Right, let's wait for the players. Anyone can join using their own devices. The code is 1508787.
Don't worry about the questions. It's very so it's very basic and fundamental. So Dafa, what is the price? If I may know.
Yeah, the price is a top secret. It's confidential.
Okay, secret. Okay.
Okay, let's wait maybe 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes. Okay, there's Glory. A. Very nice name. LKD. Okay. And let's go to 20 people maybe. Is there anyone? Right. Okay. I'll wait 30 more seconds. If there's no more persons to join, we'll just start the quiz. Okay, I think the 30 seconds is up. Let's start the quiz right now. Oops, there's one more. Okay, operator, you may start the quiz. Oh, Mahidin, nice. Number 1. I see Mohammed. Mahidin still on top. Very nice.
Okay, not bad.
Oh, Mahidin is on fire, I think. You're leading. Okay. Last 2 questions. All right, we have the podium. Number 3 is NAT, Nat. And number 2 is James. Number 1 is the champ, Mahidin. So congratulations to the top 3 winners. You are officially the data master this event. Is that Mr. Iqmal himself or?
No.
Okay.
For sure. Congrats to Mahidin. Yeah, good job.
Okay. Okay, now we have come to the end of the event. So can you please stop sharing the sound? Okay. Now we have come to the end of the event of the first workshop in Saturdays for SPE series. We hope that this event has broadened everyone's insight about data analytics and that everyone has had a good time. So I would like to thank once again Mr. Iqmal and SPE APU and SPE KL section for organizing this wonderful event. So I think as a closing, let's take a picture with the audience so everyone can turn on their cameras. Okay. Okay, I'll wait a few minutes for everyone to turn on their cameras.
Good job, Iqmal. Assalamualaikum. Good sharing.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you for those attending. So feel free to connect with me.
Excellent workshop. Thank you.
Hi, Girba. Bjorn, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay,
The background paper being chat in the chat box.
I can see Alex.
So-
Alex, how are you, Alex? Okay. Let's sip a cup of coffee, man. Is that Irtiza? Oh my goodness. Wow.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you, Irtiza. Nice to meet you here.
Yeah.
Right. I think the Mohammed has dropped the backgrounds for everyone who wants to turn on their cameras, and maybe if you can use them, please do. Is there anyone else who wants to turn on? Abdullah? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can use a background filter, the background. Harizi as well from UTM-ST. Aina, turn on your video.
No,
Yeah,
I
I'm
actually
using phone right
can't.
now.
I'm outside.
Muhammad,
Was I being heard just now? I'm not sure.
yeah, I heard you.
Okay.
Yeah, Abdullah, turn on your video.
Gaffa, good job. Good moderation. Cool.
Thank you, Mr. Rahman. Okay, I see Abdullah.
Yes.
Great. Glory, I don't see you turning on your camera, I think. Is there anyone else?
I'm using my phone. I can't use the backdrop.
Okay, I think let's just take a picture right now if there's no problem. So, Mohammed, you can give the 1, 2, 3.
Right, hello guys. Okay, so we're counting from 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3.
The winner received a gift, and the gift is Iqmal have to change his virtual background. He's a data scientist, man. He needs to make it happen. All right, okay. Joke aside.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
you, Mark.
everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Don't
you,
forget,
team.
Good job.
We have opening ceremony. I'll see you at 7:30
See you
for
guys
See you all
networking
later.
session.
tonight in an
Bye.
hour.
don't
Bye.
forget to
Guys,
fill in the feedback link.
looking forward to see you all. Bye-bye.
Bye bye, everyone.
Good job, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Iqmal, once again.
Welcome.
Okay, nanti Iqmal boleh buka table.
Thank you, Iqmal. Thanks,
Thank you,
Liam.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Iqmal.
Thank you, Dafa. Adrian. Muhammad, of course. Perform, guys. Our first event.
Great
Great
job,
kickoff,
Dafa.
guys. See you guys tonight.
See you tonight.